Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
The sky is dark and the lights are on. Welcome to qualifying here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk, and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
Right, what is up guys, and welcome back to my Robert Kubica Career Mode on F1 2017. This weekend, we're at the gorgeous Marina Bay Street Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix, round 14 of our season, on our bank lap in Q1 right now. Coming up to the end of it, we've done a 142.6, which I think should be good enough. I don't think we'll have any problems getting into Q2. But as I say that, with half a second of Q1 to go, we've come out, we're sitting P8, but we just come out to make sure that we do sneak into Q1, because if we don't, that's gonna be a disaster. Q1 has ended. We're going through these tight sections in the middle of the circuit, which is very important to get good turn-ins. I think we managed to do that pretty well. Coming up to the end of the lap, looks like it's decent. We've gone, yep, I think that was enough for us. Yes, that's P9 actually. It's good that we went out again, because we're sitting P8, and then even though we improved by half a second, we're still only P9, and Hulkenberg's through in P8 as well, so that's very good. Going into Q2 now, as you saw at the start of the video, we've put in another durability upgrade. That's our second one for our ICE, which was the plan around 11, I think. So it's good that we've delivered on that. Anyway, coming up to the end of our bank lap in Q2, we've gone off circuit a bit. What is going on? We definitely lost a lot of time there. That was horrible. 1 minute 41.8, which puts us P7 with 4 minutes to go. This time we definitely need to go out for another run. Looks like we made good work of it, because we are fastest of all, going purple in the first sector, so that's helpful. Quarter of a second up through the first sector, half a second up now, so this is a very good lap. Coming up to the end of the lap, DRS to the line. We've done well here. What's it gonna be? I think we're definitely in the top 10. It's P5. I mean, quietly, I am smashing this right now. Singapore was supposed to be a bit of a tough track for me, in the unfamiliar track, in the dark, a bit of a tight straight circuit. We've done well, and Hulkenberg's out, unfortunately. In Q3 now, the top 10 shootout, I don't have much expectation. It's just down to the car, if anything. I mean, if I get a top 8 finish, that would be splendid for me. Looks like Lewis Hamilton is on provisional pole right now. As we come up to the second sector split, looks like Raikkonen has eclipsed him. 140.2 or so that was. Coming up to the end of the lap, it's not going to be a massive jump, but I think we're going to finish in what? P6. That's good. I mean, we expected P8, and we beaten Verstappen and both the Force Indias, so that is very, very good for our season. I mean, our race, sorry. Yeah, let's get into the race and see what damage we can do.
It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Kimi Raikkonen starts today from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel and a Renault, Verstappen, Perez, Ocon and Felipe Massa, Grosjean, Sainz, Nico Hülkenberg and Alonso, Van Dorn, Wehrlein, Lance Stroll and Marcus Ericsson, Magnussen and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
On the grid for the start of the race here, we're starting P6, 5 red lights, and we're underway. We're starting behind the Ferrari of Vettel. We've all got sort of equal starts, no one's gained anything on anyone. So going into the first corner, bit of a traffic jam. I don't know where to go, honestly. Kimi Raikkonen leads, and looks like Sebastian Vettel is going around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull. I think he's gonna make it. He's got the inside of it, and coming out of the next corner, I think he's got the place up into P4 behind Valtteri Bottas. And behind that battle, looks like Sergio Perez is gonna dive bomb Max Verstappen. Just about gets me as well, but he has to slot in behind me. And as for me, I am behind, who is it? Ricciardo for now. I mean, we've started P6 and we are keeping P6. Early stages of this race, we're into lap 2 now. It's just more of being careful and not putting this car into one of the barriers and ending this race pretty early, because remember, some of our rivals, if you would like to call them that, Hülkenberg starting P13, so that's good for us. Ocon is down the order, I think, as well. So we're just gonna slot in here till we find our groove, till we find our rhythm. And doesn't look like Ricciardo is flying away from us either. So I'm pretty happy right now to just sit in P6 and just learn the track. And when I am more confident, I will attack as soon as possible. But for now, doesn't look like Perez is sort of attacking us either. So at this point, pretty well biding our time pretty well. But it looks like this is the time on lap 6, going into that corner, dive bombing Ricciardo. He leaves us the room, fair play to him. And that is us up ahead of the Australian into P5 now of this Singapore Grand Prix, going into this hairpin. A lovely little camera shot here, just getting the car turned as soon as possible. On lap 7, going down below the grandstand, looks like a change in strategy is available. I think it's time for wet weather tires. The rain is getting pretty heavy, and looks like at the top the leaders have made that call, going on to wet weather tires. But for me, when I got that message, I'm like, it's not really time, even though it clearly was. I think I made a mistake there, and looks like Bottas has agreed with me, and so has Verstappen. So we are the 3 cars going out for another lap, and on the next lap we're gonna come in. Looks like Verstappen is gonna follow us in as well. Hopefully we haven't damaged the lap too much by staying out on inters for another lap. And just as we come in to the pits, Lewis Hamilton already has pit, and he's gonna come through, and wow, engine failure in front of the grandstand. He's gonna park up, he's gonna bring out the safety car as well. And just as we go into the pits onto our wet weather tires, we get held up by Verstappen, which is incredibly annoying. And if that wasn't annoying enough, as you see the safety car leaving the pits, look at this now. We've been overtaken by Verstappen, and now we hit the pit wall, and that is way too tight there, the white line. And as we make a meal out of that, Ricciardo has overtaken us as well. So I have had a massive disaster there, and in the process I've lost 2 positions to both Red Bulls. And under the safety car, if you caught that, the thing said pass Ricardo for a second, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And just as I was gonna do it, like, no, stay behind Ricardo, which was pretty annoying. Now, coming up to the end of the safety car period, looks like Kimi Raikkonen is leading, and he's backing us all off incredibly well. And I've sort of bottled it from the restart, as you've come to expect from me. And Kimi Raikkonen leads away from Valtteri Bottas in P2 and Sebastian in P3. We are chasing down both the Red Bulls that we lost our position to. So technically I should be in P4 now, but it's not happened on lap 12. But immediately after the safety car restart, what I've gathered is that Sebastian Vettel definitely has a problem of some sort, because he is very, very slow for some reason. So I need to get involved in that, and for that I need to get past Ricardo as soon as possible. So we dive bomb him into the hairpin, and it's a traction thing and sort of a drag race to get past. And just as we get past, looks like Vettel has full on locked up, and he's hit the wall and sort of disturbed Verstappen there. So we try and take advantage as usual. It's not gonna happen right away, but Vettel keeps it, and we are going side by side. Oh god, this is gonna end badly. No, it's not, because we are both incredible drivers. Looks like just a bit of contact, nothing much, and somehow we have made it. Vettel pits for a front wing change, and his race is pretty much ruined. He ruined it himself. And just as he does that, it is going to be Robert Kubica coming out to take P3, but not for long, because look at this. What is going on? I've just aquaplaned and just slid off track there essentially, and Verstappen has taken advantage. And just as we gained that P3 podium position, and we've lost it right away. Lap 15, it's taken us a few laps there, about 2 or 3 laps, to catch back up to Verstappen. He gained about a 2-second lead, and we've brought it down to about a 0.7 second lead. And at this point, even though I wanted to get back past Verstappen, I'm like, we need to save fuel anyway, and he's not getting away, just like Ricardo wasn't getting away. So I'm like, let's just stay here. And there was a change in strategy, because the rain was receding, and we had to come in anyway, and I didn't know when to come in. So I was like, because we were racing Verstappen to the end here, so let's just do what he does and keep him ahead of us. So that's what we've done. We've come in when Verstappen has come in, going on to our second set, the second pit stop, which is another set of inters, and this we will take to the end of the race. And again, this white line, man, this is so incredibly annoying, and we bottled it again there coming out of the pit lane, and that has cost us another 2 seconds. Looks like yeah, look at the just gap on track anyway. Verstappen has run away again, so this time there's no letting Verstappen have it, because coming up to lap 19 we're going fastest of all, and we have been clawing him back, because we can't let him go now. It's just we're going to the end, so we need that podium position as much as desperately. So here we go for a move down the inside of Max Verstappen. This time going to be much more ruthless, and when we get that, I'm not going to let it go. So here we go then, side by side. We're still keeping it side by side, When are we going to do it? We actually, damn it, we've not done it. And what's that done is allowed Sergio Perez to just catch up to us. So at this point it's not even jokes, because I could lose 2 positions. Instead of gaining on Verstappen, I could even lose a place to Perez. Now essentially I'm pushing him through the corners. He's definitely a lot slower. It's lap 27, only 4 laps to go. It's getting crucial now, and off the last corner, he's not had the best exit. He's going all sideways. So here we go then, duck to the inside, and can we outbrake him? Please let me outbrake him. I think we've done it. We've made an easy deal of it, and that is us, Robert Kubica, onto the podium position for good this time, hopefully. I mean, look at that. Verstappen was definitely holding us up, because Sergio Perez, not even half a lap after we got past Verstappen, has gotten past Verstappen again. So Perez into P4. We're gonna run away from this pack, because while they're fighting, that is very good for me because I can solidify this P3 position, and that's what I'm going to do towards the end of this lap. On lap 31, it is fireworks for Kimi Raikkonen, making a habit of this. To be fair, he's beating Vettel very well recently. Kimi Raikkonen comes through to win the Singapore Grand Prix by about 2 seconds. It's sort of close, but not really. Valtteri Bottas takes P2, and as for us, it's not even close. We're like 30-40 seconds behind, and the Wehrlein's trying to take us out. God, can you not, please? Somehow we've gotten past Wehrlein, and we're gonna come through. It's gonna be our second podium of the season. Robert Kubica, P3. Come on, what a result! What a result, son. Get in.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So there you have it. The Singapore Grand Prix is in the books. Rained throughout. I was not ready for that, but we come out of it with our second podium of the season after Monaco. Maybe I have a thing for street circuits. I don't know. But yeah, delighted with that. On to Malaysia next weekend. I like Sabang as well, but we could be running with a worn engine, so we'll see what happens with that. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more, and I will see you later. Jan Balpe.